Good. Well, you all are probably familiar with this um, consumer folder. This is the sunlight shining in the window here on the consumer folder. When I first saw this picture, I thought they were playing volleyball. But they're actually worry less and living more. I'm really starting to use that, going back to that theme, I should say. I just ordered a bunch of giveaways for glass cleaners, and that was what I put on it, was worry less, live more, in my website. So that really, that's kind of the theme. One of the things to keep in mind is that as you go through, one thing that generated or to use the consumer folder is that it's about you. It's about you and your relationship. And we're going to talk to our consumers, our groups, our small business people. We're going to talk to them about legal services and identity theft services. Last week, in two different groups that I had, two different employees went to LegalShield.com because that was what was in their benefit booklet. Okay, lesson learned for me, because every group can have their own customized web page. And so that was surprising. So we do want to, market ourselves. We're marketing a legal plan, and we're marketing ID Shield. The provider of those services is Legal Shield. So that's really kind of the whole idea of the consumer folder. And also, it's very easy and simple to use, no matter who you're working with or who you're meeting with. So I love the first part of it on the cover, because you can start asking them these questions. Or you could use it in a networking opportunity. So in my chamber, when it's my turn to speak and I have 15 minutes, I'll pass this out to everyone as they're coming in, so that, they're not really paying attention to the 30-minute advertising for every member that's in our leads group, but they're reading these questions, right? And because I always talk about, it's really a life events plan versus a legal plan. So it's a life event plan. All these life events are happening to us. And so that's where we want to be able to show you that this is a resource for you and for your family. So these types of questions, if you're meeting one-on-one, is an opportunity to start learning from them about what their life event is, that when you go to the next page on the legal services, you can spend more time on that area. So then when you open it up, very simple, right? When you open it up, now you're going to have, number one, you have pictures. People learn more with pictures. They connect visually with pictures. So you have the preventive law, you have these categories. You have the motor vehicle, the trial defense, family services, and financial. So from the questions at the front, you can kind of, find out, like, if you're talking to somebody that's 21 or 22, 25, a young adult, and even though we know it's important that they have a living will, they don't really think that's important. So that would probably not be a focus area. But you would want to talk to them about unlimited telephone consultations. So do you rent an apartment? Do you own your home? So we're always asking questions so that we can find out what story or what are we going to share with them about how this can help them. And of course, as many stories as you have, the key to the legal services is you need to use the law firm. You need to have your stories. And if you don't have a lot of stories because you just started, you just use other people's stories in that. So unlimited telephone consultation. So I always like to have people write we're going to do writing because that gets them, again, connected. So if you're meeting one-on-one, you're in a group, you're meeting with a small business owner, I have them write under the legal protection. I have them write down, I need advice on. So go ahead and write that down. That's what I tell them. Go ahead and write that down. I need advice on, because when you call your dedicated law firm, you're going to say, I need advice on. I need advice on a landlord-tenant issue. I need advice on a speeding ticket. I need advice on getting my will updated. I need advice because my dog bits another dog in the dog park. I need advice on my neighbors building a fence on my property line, so that they start to connect, because we need to teach people how to use this benefit, how to use this service, because people aren't used to calling an attorney. And so we need to teach them how to use it. And then I'll tell them to write down the law firm's phone number. So in Colorado, write this number down. It's 1-800-820-3369. So once you're enrolled, you can call and talk to your attorney about anything. Now, if I'm in a group setting, I'll say anything but questions about your employment, because, you know, that is an area that you can check off. The employer can, that they can't ask questions about that. And so we want to have stories that relate to these different areas, letters and phone calls written on your behalf. So I had an employee, I had a member that was renting an apartment. So if they say they were a renter, then you can say, you know, go into a story about a member renting an apartment and her dishwasher stopped working. And so she called her landlord, and the landlord said, why don't you go on YouTube and try to figure out how to fix it? And so she had the service. She called her attorney. The attorney made a phone call. She had a new dishwasher in 2 days. Wouldn't you agree that having access to an attorney makes a difference in your situation, makes a difference in your life event to get some action going? I don't know where you live, but the rental situation here in the Denver market, landlords are increasing their rent, even though it was in their contract that, you know, in their lease, that it was for a year, but they're increasing that. People aren't getting their security deposit back. And so what do we do? Instead of getting mad, now you can call and talk to your attorney. Then I talk about document review. So again, kind of thinking about where they are in their life stages. So one thing you might want to do is check out, if you go into LS Engage and look up the life stages, it's a printout, it's a PDF. You don't have to print it out, I guess. I'm just a visual learner, so I print off everything. But it has life stages, so it gives you examples of these are the different life events that happen during these different life stages, so that when you're talking to somebody in a certain life stage, you can think about those types of topics. So I'd like to give them an example that I used this summer about an Airbnb. And we were looking at renting an Airbnb. I got the contract. I sent it into the law firm, and the law firm recommended don't sign that because you have high liability on that contract. Okay, well, that was a decision-making tool for us. Not going to do that contract. On to the next Airbnb, which we got the second one then. And then, of course, the will, the estate planning. And now, you know, one thing you might want to say is, because it's not on here, is that they have the financial power of attorney. So again, get them writing. Good news, we just added this new feature. And so why don't you just jot that down, financial power of attorney. So this will package that you have for you and for your spouse or domestic partner is included in your monthly fee at no additional cost. Every year you can update that. And so, you know, you might want to, depending again, where they are in their life stages. If it's a younger person, I talk about a living will. It's important. If I talk to a more mature person, you know, we're all kind of looking at doing that for our adult checkoff list for that. Now, I spend most of my time on this area because 80% of the usage comes in this first area of services. Then the second one I spend a little time on is the motor vehicle or the traffic tickets, because I can give some examples. And, I kind of make a joke, have you ever got a speeding ticket? Like, who hasn't? And so we can't fix tickets, but our goal is to get your points reduced. So then I give them an example of what happened to me. I had a 6-point ticket. I could have signed the back of the ticket, so it would have been 4 points. So now you can talk about the app. So you can include the app on teaching them again how to use the service. So if you get a speeding ticket, hey, you go right to the app, you take a picture of the ticket, take a picture of your license, take a picture of your registration, send that off to the law firm. An attorney will call you back within 4 working hours on the motor vehicle to say, what is the next step? And so the next step may be to go to court. That was what happened to me. And who goes first in traffic court? The person that has an attorney. And then I'll say, I still had to pay my court costs, right? Because we don't want to oversell it like we're going to do everything. I had this potential member, I should say, email me, and oh my goodness, it was like a paragraph of just continuous life events. And I'm like, well, 75% of that's going to go into the 25% discounted rate. So that they know that is part of the plan. Trial defense services, I breeze through that. There's not a lot of usage, but it's a good coverage to have. Family services, I have them circle that 90 days. It's in parentheses right there. Circle that 90 days. This is the only part that has a waiting period. You get a traffic ticket today, sign up today, it's covered. But family domestic services are uncontested. And so I'll ask them, I go, do you know what uncontested means? And a lot of people don't really know what that means. I never knew what it meant till they brought that out here. And I said, well, both parties agree on everything. So if you're going through an uncontested divorce, again, if it's a single person, we're not going to talk about getting a divorce or a separation, right? We're just going to kind of go to the next section, which is the financial, debt collection, billing disputes, and give an example of that. So when I talk about the will, I always say that's my favorite part, is the will, which it is. My second favorite part is the 24/7 emergency access. I was in a car accident, and the first thing I did was I called my attorney. Peace of mind to have that access. Then the 25% member discount, of course, if there's something that, isn't here, goes in the 25% discount, but always start by calling and talking to your attorney first. Then we have the additional supplements. Again, depending on the person, they may or may not want a gun owner plan, home business rider. Do you or your spouse have a business? That's a good opener. I've been doing a lot of benefit fairs, health fairs, and I have, if they let me, which most of them do, give away a prize. Go ahead. They're coming to your table. Only one employer won't let me do that. But anyways, so I have a prize drawing slip, and I added this question this fall. I added the question, do you or your spouse have a business? And it's amazing how many spouses have a business. And so that just opens up another door, right, for the home business rider or the small business plan. So you can have a discussion about that also. So that's on the legal plan. Okay, Jane, you got to let me know if I talk too long.
We'll probably be here till 10 o'clock. I'm loving it. I'm kidding. No, you're fine.
Well, we got to get to that football game, right? No. So with identity theft, I think another part of identity theft, people are familiar with identity theft. We just had our second largest school district in Colorado have a data breach. And so we have to, again, teach people that identity theft's just not about financial. So if I'm sitting down one-on-one, I'll say, which one of these do you think is the highest identity theft? And most people will pick, as you probably know, financial, because that's what they know. but actually it's medical identity theft is the fastest growing. And then, what would people do with your identity? And here's some different things that they can do. And then we go into, this is how ID Shield is going to help you and your family. So again, with ID Shield, we have an individual plan, we have a family plan. And so under the privacy and reputation management, that's where I include Trend Micro. And I'll talk about Trend Micro, the VPN, the password manager. And if they want more information about that, they can go to my website and see more information about that. But I always talk about monitoring. That's the first part. That's the core. Is we're going to start monitoring your information. We monitor 108 data points. And then from there, if something pops up, you're going to get a notification on your phone or email, whichever you prefer. Again, think about how do they like to communicate. That's going to say, hey, there's been something that's happening. Like I got to push out notifications. So again, you need to set up your ID Shield. You need to set up your monitoring. I got a push out notification that said I was part of the dark web. So then I called my consultant. That's the next part. I called my consultant. I said, hey, I got this notification. She did some research. She said, do you have a Comcast email? And I go, well, I do, but I never, I don't use it. I haven't used it in years. So, well, you need to deactivate it because part of a data breach. Okay, great. Again, help me out, right? And the 24/7 emergency assistance. And then I talk about full service restoration. This is what makes us different than any other identity theft services out there, because there are a lot of them. And a lot of them do the monitoring, consultation, but they don't have private license investigators who's going to do the work for you. Then again, I say good news, that $1 million, cross that one off, it's now $3 million. We just upgraded that to 3 million protection policy. And then I say, you may be wondering, what is a protection policy? Well, if you have to take time off from work, you have out-of-pocket costs, you have to travel, daycare, elder care, that's what that money is there for, to help you with that. And then we got the back about the stories again, and then member perks. Don't forget to talk about member perks, because if that member uses member perks on a monthly basis, they can save $49 a month on using member perks. So you need to use member perks. I use it for my cell phone. I save $20 a month. I used it for a car rental. I used it for hotels. There's local and national. So if you are working maybe with a company or an employer, well, first you need to ask the decision maker, do you offer pet insurance? And they go, no, we don't offer that. Then that's a part that you need to add that on, if they have a pet, right? So you're kind of asking them different questions. And then right under where it says, let us protect your rights, your freedom, and your future, that's where you're going to put your information, your contact information. So let me ask you this. Did I ever say Legal Shield? No, legal services. I did say ID Shield. That is the name of the service. And it's just so important that we talk about legal services and ID Shield or identity theft services. Everything that I do with marketing, that's what it says, that we provide legal and identity theft services. That's what I have on my PIMs. That's what I have on my stress balls. That's what I have on my new iCloths, right? That's what we provide for that. So that's kind of a snapshot of the consumer folder. Do I answer questions now, or what would you like me to do?
Yes, Cheryl, I think so. What a great overview. I love it. And sometimes people worry about things that are missing or things that are wrong, such as the Trend Micro's not there. We get to enhance it by talking about Trend Micro. The $1 million, we get to tell them it's $3 million. Those are the things that used to hang me up way back when. And now we just get to add those things in. So I love the way you did that. And I was very upset when I first saw this, that it didn't say Legal Shield on it. And then John Hoffman made it very clear to us, it's not there because you are the service. You are brokering this service.
Right.
And you
It's
don't have to, Right. It's very intentional and it makes so much sense now. So whoever would like to ask questions, go ahead and raise your hands.
And so I think, you know, like you said, when there's additional services that we have, or like, you know, we went from 1 million to 3 million, you know, that's because our company is always improving. We're always bringing it, you know, we would have to update this folder like, you know, monthly if we're going to be adding everything. So it's always good news. You know, our company's on top of it. We've got more services. We have more features for you, but it's at the same price. We didn't increase our price.
Right. Cheryl, one thing I did hear you say, you said the 4 hours, and did you know that we are going back to saying 8 hours?
8 hours, yes, but 4 hours on the traffic. 8 hours, yes. If you call in,
I love that they're going back.
yes, it's a more realistic expectation for 8 hours. It really is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
So if someone has questions, please feel free to raise your hands. There's so many things we could talk about here. Cheryl, you mentioned, for example, that you've had experience with that 24/7. I've never had that. But when I moved from Michigan down to Texas, the woman buying my house up in Michigan quit her job before she got a loan a week before. And they found out, of course, and she did not get that loan. And that left me hanging 1,500 miles from an empty house. She wanted her $5,000 deposit back. I said no. She sued me. She sued me for $10,000. She wanted her 5,000 plus attorney's fees, plus court costs, plus I think she wanted to get her dog groomed and go on a vacation. I don't know what she wanted. It was like, oh my God. But it's a horrible feeling. You get that envelope, it's horrible. Thanks to this, I sent it to my Texas law firm. They sent it back up to Michigan. A lawyer went to court and they won that case. They called me and said, Miss Lehman, we won and she still wants to buy your house. I said, no. And the lawyer started laughing and he said, don't worry. We told her to take a hike. You're not going to deal with her anymore. So
Right.
that was a powerful part for me. So everyone's going to have the part that resonates with them is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's where we tell our stories.
Right. And you just have to make sure that your stories are matching that person that you're talking to when you're doing a one-on-one. You know, like I said, if you're talking to somebody that's, you know, a younger person and you spend, you know, 10 minutes talking about how important it is to have a will in place, you know, they're just going to be, you know, but if you talk about the app, you know, oh yeah, oh app, cool, you know.
Yeah. Or, with the younger people, I had some young guys in their 20s. They totally got it. When I said, this is your final love letter to your family, because right now you have no one to make decisions for you. And they were like, what?
Right, right.
What happens to you? The state will decide for you. What? Yeah, they're starting to see that.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And you can tell when somebody is interested or not interested in that, right? From their facial and how you're connecting with them and everything.
right. I think Melvin Turner, did you want to say something?
Yeah, Melvin Turner, Louisville, Kentucky. Based on your experience using the consumer folder, uh, which is more beneficial, or are they both the same when dealing with individuals or dealing with the groups uh, in the B2B? Have
So
you?
in the so how to use this in an enrollment? Is that what you're asking? Or
Yes.
okay. Yeah. So same thing. So it depends on with the employer, how they're enrolling their employees. So if you have to do a paper application, which, you know, we're going way not using that. But let's say that they're still using a paper app, then you can just throw that in the middle of this folder. That's what's so nice about it. It's just right in there. And the app, you know, can have the pricing on it. And again, if you're doing a PowerPoint presentation and they have this in the PowerPoint presentation, you can put the pricing. So it depends on how you're going to be doing the enrollment. But if they have their own website and they can enroll on the shieldbenefits.com/employer name, then you need to let them know that. So I'll put like a sticker, well, on the back, I'll have my information and you can customize it and put that, or I'll put a sticker right on the front, like, you know, enroll and resource center. So if you haven't had a chance to look at those employer websites, there's now a tab that has resource center. And I'm really promoting that because inside it has the 2 videos, less than 2 minutes each, on the legal plan, ID Shield plan. And then it tells them once they're enrolled, how to start their membership, right? Again, it's education. And then there's another section below that that has articles like tips for legal tips for the holidays, identity theft tips for the holidays. So there's a legal section and then there's a identity theft section on the bottom of it that will help. And I mean, I don't know how much time I have here, but I could show
You have a couple minutes.
couple
Yeah.
minutes. Okay,
Yeah,
one
you have a couple
moment.
minutes.
Okay, hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
Okay, shield. Okay. All right. And it's loading. Okay.
Yeah, no, this just makes so much sense.
I have many windows open, so I'm oh, where did that go? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
And I did
Okay.
put the information, by the way, in the chat. I put in the link to go learn more about it, about the consumer folder.
Right. Darcy does a great job on that. Okay. So here's an example. These are the new, or I should say updated websites. And so if you look at resources, okay, your membership resources, start using your benefits. I don't know about you, but how many people, how many employees call you and say, I don't know how to sign into my account. Okay, well, you just direct them back to the website. And then here's the 2 videos. They can learn more. So like today I talked to an employee and, you know, we went through the PowerPoint presentation and I said, okay, so tonight when you're talking to your husband about Legal Shield and ID Shield, I want you to go to this website, go to the resource center and have them watch these 2 videos because you probably can't remember everything I said, right? She's like, oh yeah, you're right. Kind of laughed, right? Find your law firm, member perks, how to start saving. So, you know, before we would be sending all these links, all these, and, you know, you just had to keep developing all these emails to send. And now everything is in one place. I love it. Okay. Ways to use your benefits. How do you use it? 5 reasons to make a will. You go down here, identity theft. Now this is all employer B2B stuff. Okay. And then, oh, it doesn't have that on there. Oh, I know why, because it's a bank draft. Okay. If this was a payroll deduction, employer, then there's another section right here at the bottom that says how to make sure that you keep your plan, that you can what is the word? Not transition, but if anybody can think of the word, how to keep it, how to keep your benefit.
Retain. To your
Portable. It's
What?
portable.
Portable. Thank you. Yes.
Portable.
So it has a section down there that they can, you know, do that with. But this is a great resource for your question for the B2B is just make sure that you keep using this website for that.
Well,
Did that answer your question?
Cheryl, can I ask you a question? This is Bridget, Paquette and Gaylord.
Hey, Bridget.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Yeah, thanks.
Good. You look great. Under that resource, and you went to your membership resources, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Right here.
All right. And then if it's a payroll deduct though out of your employee benefits, it'll have that other one. Because a lot of mine are already payroll deduct.
Yeah. So the payroll deduction websites have exactly the same thing as this, The
Okay.
only thing it has at the end is the portable, like if you leave the job and you want to keep it, that's the
Okay.
other section that's down there.
Okay.
But everything else is the same.
And Cheryl, I put a link in the chat. It's for the state of Texas. All I did, you had state of Colorado. I simply put state of Texas because that's where I am. So you can take that link and simply take out whatever state name, take Texas out and put your state in and put it exactly like that. And you'll come to where she is. On her.
Well, if you have that account,
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly.
do you have the state of Texas account?
Yes, I'm on here now. Here I am.
All right.
So yeah, it has to be.
So the question about the consumer folder and B2B, so when you have that website, so I make a separate label and just put that label on the front of the consumer folder. If you're doing a paper application, which means that you could enroll them on Shield at Work portal, you can put that website at the top of that application. That actually is a lot easier than making a label because now you're only having one thing that you have to make. And then you just throw that right in the middle of the folder. And it's very easy and simple. Any other questions?
But if you're doing a one-on-one, well, so let's say that there's 15 in the group, Cheryl, and you're there personally. Do you put a paper application in that consumer folder still or no?
It depends on how the employer is enrolling the employees.
Okay.
So some of them will use a portal like what's called Employee Navigator.
Right.
Which actually can be a benefit to you because everybody sees that benefit.
Right.
So then if they're using that, then I don't put the application in there, but I do promote the website because you can get this is group. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of going in a tangent here, but for group, you can get what's called an info site, which means it's everything that I just showed you, but they can enroll. Or you can get an enrollment site. So Bridget, if they're going to have their employees go through whatever portal they have for all their benefits, then you want to get an info site. Just what I showed you,
Right.
so that they still have the videos, they still have how to use it, how to set up your accounts, the member perks, they have all of that in there.
Okay, then I have another question, and I'm sorry I'm keeping you, but I think this will help somebody else maybe to come into this. But last week when I was in Jackson, Michigan, I was sat around a table at a women's conference at a church, and she is their accountant to a big company. Well, I shouldn't say big. It started with 4 and now it's at 55 within 9 months, Cheryl. And they're growing leaps and bounds. And the owners, 2 brothers, they are pretty much wanting me to wait until after the first of the year because right now they say, I just cannot get another thing on my plate. What would you say in an email to those 2 owners?
About
I just got
offering the benefit now.
Yeah.
This is the busiest season for identity theft.
Okay.
So, if you want to help protect your employees and, legal and identity theft, it's the highest time for, like, the day after Christmas is like the highest time for car accidents.
Yeah.
So there's different statistics that you can find about legal situations during the holiday season. So instead of your employees taking time off during the holiday season, if you're talking to a decision maker, the decision maker is all about time and money.
Right.
You're talking to HR, you're talking about, helping your people, right? So whoever you're talking to is how you're going to phrase that. But yeah, I mean, this is the time to do it. And
Thank
if
you,
they
dear.
say, you know, we just can't do that, then, and you just go with what they say, you know, you don't want to lose an account because you're trying
Yeah.
to push them into something, right?
Right. But
So,
just to wish him a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll just send you a couple more things. And yeah, but I think we should try and roll it out before the first of the year. Yeah,
Yeah, and you need to tell them why.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Thank you, Cheryl.
anybody else have questions for Cheryl? Well, we can all see that there's probably reasons for us to all go back to group training again, right?
December 1st is the training online.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you so much, Cheryl. This has been really helpful. It was a great addition to what we learned last week from Agar Thomas. Phenomenal. I hope that helped everybody. I do not know who the guest is next week, but I know John has a great call set up again. So y'all go out, have a very happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And we will see you a week from today. Bye-bye.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Cheryl.
your
Thank
families.
you.
Bye-bye.
Good holidays, great
Thanksgiving
training,
all.
great
Thanksgiving.
training.
Good
you.
training.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a great